Greetings and welcome to this episode of Leadership Matters, a video interview series highlighting the stories and experiences of global leaders and providing valuable leadership lessons for our audience. The series is hosted by the dynamic Avinash Ananda, world's leading leadership and happiness master coach. Our special guest for today's episode is Ms. Amrita Tripathi, Vice President at Stanley David and Associates. Amrita leads the IT senior leadership and executive hiring for SDNA Global and has been instrumental in building and expanding the business of SDNA Global from ground up. She is directly in charge of the revenue growth of the company.
Welcome, viewers, to this episode, Leadership, Empowerment, and Awareness Discussions with Avinash Ananda. I have been teaching leadership and happiness for over 30 years to over 1 million people. I'm very, very happy and delighted and fortunate to have with me today on this episode Amrita Tripathi. Amrita, you've heard her profile. It's been read out to you. See, on this show, we get together with some very interesting people who've had leadership experiences and then derive some kind of life and leadership lessons through a casual and spontaneous conversation. So Amrita and I have never met before. Hi, Amrita. How are you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hi, Avinash. Hi, Avinash. Thank you so much for the amazing introduction and looking forward to what we have got on this episode.
Fantastic. I'm looking forward to it too because I have no idea what's going to happen. So, Amrita, your exposure has been in the field of human resources and recruitment primarily. And with the organization that you work with, you've been there almost from the starting. Is that correct? So you're like a
Yes.
founding partner, like a member. This is your baby. You have
Pretty
other
much.
baby also?
I do have a 7-year-old son.
What's his name?
His name is Avyan,
Oh, it's
which means Lord Ganesha. Yeah, right.
Avinash means Lord Ganesha?
It means Lord Ganesha. Yeah.
Nice.
It is one of the
And-
name of
and-
Lord Ganesha. Yeah.
Lovely. And Amrita means Amrit, right? The nectar of immortality.
Exactly.
So I know this story, Amrita, of Avyan's dad. No, not in real life. I'm talking about in the story. Lord Shiva. He drank the poison in order to give the Amrita to the rest of the world. And there was in this mythological story the Manthan, Samudra Manthan, where there was a battle or struggle. So the notion is that to get some nectar or to get the benefits, there has to be some struggle.
Exactly.
Is that true in your life too? Have you gone through a lot of struggle to get to where you are? You won so many awards. I'm just curious. Where does the Amrita come from? What has been the Manthan?
Okay, yeah, you have associated me with the mythological character and everything, but thank you so much. I have been privileged, but then to my share, I have had struggles as well. Having belonged to a well-to-do family from Uttar Pradesh, where at the time when I was born, at least there was some kind of notions, having a girl child at the family could have been, dampening how we would grow have the families go and have generations, taken care of, etc. So then I was the second born child, and girl child. So I realized that there was, when my parents tell me about it, at least I know I have been still quite privileged because my parents have never had kind of a difference between me and my siblings. I have one of my younger brother as well. But the society did have, and they, at certain stages of my life, I have heard people saying that, it would have been nicer if you had a son, who could take care of the family, etc. But having less to do with that, because my parents always gave us the opportunity and liberty to think on my own feet and do whatever I wanted to do. And that has helped me, take or make decisions, go for higher educations to Manchester Business School for my master's, which was elective in human resources and industrial relations management. And I think at the point when most of the girls were getting married, I was still making these decisions, and I owe my parents a lot for, letting me making me, those decisions which have helped me grow, and they've stood by my side, throughout against the society. I wouldn't say, and at large, that the society is quite critical about women empowerment, but then we do have norms which doesn't let or kind of puts the women behind the men. But I think the times are changing, and it's really nice to see how the society is becoming progressive with a lot of engagements that are happening. Women are there in every sector. You think of sports, you think of media, entertainment, science, politics, everything. Where do you not see the women today? And I think I
Yeah,
drive a lot of
I see
courage
women. I see women around me all the time because
all the time.
my organization. There is my around me. I have my mother, my sister, my wife. No, the mother, of course, is she was she's retired now. She was a bank officer for 29 years, and I've learned true lessons of leadership and life from her wisdom. And I truly believe that women are very powerful leaders, and one of the reasons they're so powerful, in my experience, is their ability to think so differently from men, especially factoring emotions as one of the uh, inputs uh, in the process of decision making.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I think empathy does play a big part when when I think about something and when I see my counterpart who is a male thinking about of the similar life, I think I really do factor out the empathy part, which sometimes is missing. I'm not saying the men are not empathetic at all, but
yeah, I was
I
just
think
about to
everybody
protest.
does believe. Yeah, right.
Protest empathetically, of course. Yeah.
Sorry.
So I was going to protest, but I was going to protest empathetically, no,
Yeah, yeah.
uh, respectfully. Okay. So tell me something. You spoke about society. You spoke about traditional roles. You spoke about how you were able to break free, and you had the support of your parents. So support plays an important role. How important is the external environment, and how important is your own will to break free? What is your
Role.
experience in that?
So I think both of it does play a factor. I do have a child at home, but if I had not had the support system,
Mm.
to somebody who's taking care of the child when I am busy in the meetings and making up those big decisions, how would have I had done this? It would have been very difficult. So it's not just the parents, but community as at large. I know there's a daycare, there's nanny available. My husband is quite supportive, so it brings the entire community which becomes supportive. The government plays a big role in it, with creating those kind of policies. So yeah.
Is there a parallel between what you're saying for yourself and how you are a leader for your people? So, from what I understand, is you're not only responsible for the revenues. You recruit people at very senior levels, right? So it is not just the recruitment of people, but you're also involved in operations, in the HR of your own company. So, in all of these roles, also, you as a leader are also supporting your people and providing that kind of an atmosphere for your team, and that is important.
It is and I think since when I started with this organization, I was perhaps the only woman who was here.
Really?
And
Wow.
we do a lot of hiring. In fact, 100% of our hiring is for our external stakeholders, which are tier one large IT organizations, be it services,
Right.
products, engineering, etc. And we do this. We run this business across the globe. Not just in India, but United States of America, UK, Europe, Middle East, Asia, Pacific, right? Uh, so coming back to the point that you asked me, bringing our people together has been one of
Mm.
the key element that we have always considered. We've taken care of our people. There are teams, even if I am not the person who is, or the person who's not directly reporting it to me, whoever is at the level between is very much aware of what this person does, what their families
Mm.
are like, what are the likes, dislikes, hobbies, strengths, weaknesses, everything, and then we try and enhance that within the organization. We are
Mhm.
always in a very collaborative manner, be it professionally working on an assignment or being there for somebody who's going through maybe struggles in their own personal lives,
Mhm.
be it the healthcare policies that we have in the organization, the mental health awareness that we have in the organization. 80% of our staff is women. Around
Wow.
20% of, yeah,
Wow. This happened.
yeah,
Why? Because of you? Because when you joined the organization, there was only one woman.
yeah,
That was you.
yeah, yeah.
Amazing.
And
Amazing.
20% of that is the young women who are either conceiving or going on maternity leave or coming back, and we are so proud that because of this organization they are able to sustain and continue their aspirational professional aspirations. They are happy to come, they've got the flexibilities. I think we've taken into consideration, not at the cost of losing a customer or hindering the productivity,
Sure.
but ensuring that these people are given the amount of flexibilities that they need. And I'm so proud of this team, because despite the challenges or the constraints that they have been the outliers, they have been outstanding performers, and that
Sure.
is the kind of confidence, I think, which is two-way. They also trust and believe in the organizational, the values that we have, the ethics that
Mhm.
we have, the integrity that we have. And yeah, so it is definitely
So there's
two-way.
two things that come out here. One is resources or the support that you provide. The other is resourcefulness, which is their own ambition and their values and their drive. Both are required, both from the personal side as well as from supporting people within the organization. This is one thing that came out very clearly from what you're saying, that when the resources are limited, we need to have the resourcefulness. So the society or the environment or your other leaders can only provide your base, the platform or the solidity. But after that, you have to take off on your own. I
Next.
think this is fantastic, which means beyond the point of time, it is not about man or woman. It's about competence.
It is.
Huh?
It is.
But
And I
but
think
initially, to get the advantage, maybe you need that support.
it does, and I think with the practice we have, we very well understand that talent has no gender. I just spoke about
Absolutely.
what we have, what we have, in terms of gender diversity. If you put that in the quotation mark, right? But we do have employees who also belong to the LGBTQ community, right? So
Sure.
inclusion and diversity at large is definitely, we and people are not judged for what they do, for what they, the community they belong to, or the caste and creed and everything, but they are all
Mm,
rewarded for what they have contributed, in
mm.
terms of the talent,
Meritocracy.
in terms of the productivity. Yes.
So how
Yes,
do you how
it
do
is.
you predict meritocracy? See, you're in the job of interviewing people at very senior levels, and you have to predict during a short meeting that whether this person will suit that job and remain there for a long time. How good are you at reading people, and how transferable is the skill? Because you're talking
Yeah.
about being like an X-ray. See, I train people from all over the world, and some of the people who I train are security personnel, like immigration officers. So they look at a person and immediately they're supposed to tell whether the person is lying or not. There's
Yeah.
micro expressions. If there's any lack of alignment between what they're saying and how they are appearing. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
How important is this psychological aspect, and how good are you at reading people, and does it turn out well for your clients?
Oh, yeah. Well, for me personally, I'm a Scorpion, so I do believe some kind of traits that the
Scorpion.
Scorpions bring
What is
in.
Scorpion? What is Scorpion?
um,
What are the traits?
it's a zodiac sign,
No, no,
which
no,
is
I know. But do you sting?
yeah.
Do you
So
sting?
they are known. They're known as the human X-ray machines, right? So
Oh,
that no, this is a trait. Apart from being very loyal,
okay.
right? But that's on a on a serious note. If I talk about what really requires is to have the in-depth understanding of the industry and what has
Yeah,
helped us. This organization, Stanley David and Associates, to move forward and be the trusted partner with some of the very large IT
sure,
organizations
sure, sure.
and helping them find their, if not CXOs, but the CXO minus 1, 2, 3 levels is the
Right.
kind of, the confidence we have brought on table, when we pitch in a candidate for a senior exec
But
position.
your
And
confidence,
that,
Amrita, your confidence
yeah,
comes from competence.
it is.
So
Yes.
this competence, my question is this competence more intuitive, developed over the years, that you can, because you're a Scorpion, you can read people? I'm just joking about the Scorpion. Or is it more about do you use some tools? Like Scorpion, Aquarius, all that is one tool. No,
No, no, no.
another tool, I'm joking,
No,
I'm
that
joking
was
about it.
just joke.
But like
Yeah.
you have the Gallups, you have the Gallup Strength Finder, or you have the other personality profiling. Do you use, how much of your judgment of people is based on the tools and how much is based on your intuition?
Okay, so I'll come to the intuition part later because that definitely does play some part, but I don't think that should be only 10 to 20% of the entire proposition.
Mhm.
Now I know if I'm working for ABC company and there are 10 competitors that this company has in the market, I
Mm.
have to be very clear about who are their leaders, what are they doing, which company has been having the highest revenue generated in the recent times, and what has been their journeys, what are they doing. We're talking about the IT and technology. I need to be very well aware what are the emerging technologies, who are the
Mm.
leaders. We are talking about the quadrant, right? The market,
Mm.
where are these leaders or the emerging leaders are positioned when the quadrants, right? We're talking about the Gartner and the rest of the other analysts.
Sure, sure.
So we do all those kind of mappings. We do a lot of market mappings, a
Sure,
lot of
sure.
market
Got
intelligence, a
it.
lot
Got
of
it.
industry, yeah,
Amrita,
and that helps us. Yeah.
yeah. Can I ask you some very quick questions, like a rapid fire thing? Just tell me the first word or
Sure.
first thing that comes to mind. Okay? Just for fun. Right?
Yeah.
The first thing that comes to mind, a leader should use fear as a motivator. Yes or no,
No.
and why? Why?
No. Fear
Why?
can get the things done, but it can never get the trust. And if the people cannot trust you, they are not going to stay longer.
Okay, lovely. Second thing is, women are better than men. Yes or no, and why?
No, I don't think so. We can generalize on this. I think talent has no gender, and people are equally talented or not talented. People are unique and different in their own capacities.
Yeah, well, lovely. The next quick question is, tiger doesn't change his stripes, which means my mother always says, "Gade ko to behtar gada bana sakte, ghoda nahi bana sakte." With all the training in the world, donkey will remain a maybe better donkey, but cannot become. So, is it about? So do people really change? Is the question. With training, with everything, do people really change, or do they remain basically the same?
I think with practice, which makes man perfect, that definitely would if it still remains a donkey, I can't really comment on that, but it does change.
The donkey is a good
It
creature.
does.
I'm not meaning it in any different way. It could be a anything. Okay. All
No,
right.
but
All right.
I think people do do change. The environment has to change, around them. And you pick somebody who has been underprivileged, and you give them the kind of training, the kind of privileges, and you change the surrounding. I think the surrounding definitely plays a big part. I've seen myself changing people, how the attitudes change. It is
Sure.
not an overnight change that you would see, but during the course of time there is some amount of change which is definitely possible. Even a thief can be turned into a saint, and so I definitely think things can change.
That's right.
People
Huh?
can
That's how Vishwamitra happened. So, Amrita, we've gone to mythology, we've gone to personal life, we've gone to society, we've gone to business, we've looked at your recruitment, we've gone to psychology. I'd summarize this with four S's. Huh? The lessons that come out from what Amrita says. Huh? So, these four S's are: one is sensitivity. Huh? Having the sensitivity to connect with people, to know what their issues are, and to support them through the process of their growth, the sensitivity. The other one is uh, support system. Huh? Okay. You having the support system is an advantage. At the same time, you should also be there to provide that support system to other people. The support system. Third is self confidence. Regardless of support system, you need to believe in yourself, and it's more about talent and meritocracy than it is about gender or anything else. Okay. So we should not use those as excuses for not having the self confidence that comes from competence. And
Yeah.
the last S, Amrita, which comes out from what you said, is that don't go so much with uh, intuition. Have intuition, have your originality, but majority of the time follow some systems for you to get predictable results. Even in a field like psychology or analyzing people, have a systematic approach and a scientific approach towards doing that. Huh? These are the
Yeah.
four things that we got out of what you said. How do you like that? I had a great time talking with you, Amrita.
I had an absolute lovely time. Thank you so much. I think this was wonderful. And it is always a pleasure speaking to you. I mean, I've not spoken to you
Thank you.
before, but definitely I think this turned out to be much entertaining episode that I could think of.
Yeah, we got to make it,
Yeah,
information by itself will not create transformation. Huh? But
exactly.
information with this kind of interaction and then throwing out some inspiration can create great transformation. Okay. Lovely talking with
Absolutely.
you, Amrita. Take care. See you.
Same here.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Thank you so
Bye
much.
bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, viewers.